let's build today for our 70 build. What do you say? Clean off that first before we get started. Alright. Get yourself a little basket, little part, small part. Okay, you see that this was built at one time before. It's painted silver. They did not come painted from the factory. So, could find a bunch of surprises in here we don't know yet. Somebody had the pan down. Install it. Check this out. See the magnet is loaded with metal. So we can tell right away that the planets in this thing are no good. Definitely know that. That's a given. Let's unplug everything. Get a little scribe. The temperature sensor I leave plugged in, I just take it off the plate there. This I'll move over, so we move everything over. Get your 8mm. Just start taking off all the bolts. This has a shift kit in it, so we're gonna move on to that. Bracket, EPC bracket. And more. You don't need many tools in this transmission. This is the accumulator. Q3 cover, and then a shift kit stopper to prevent the plate from breaking. Take the gasket off. There should be a filter right here. Whatever was in here last, everything's filter back. A little tiny filter sits right in there. We'll put it in back though during. We'll get one, put one in there for our rebuild. Comes out. Now I'll take everything out. Don't leave anything in this case. This, we're going to put in the solvent tank. This is your internal wiring harness. Alright, we're back. So what we'll do is take the pin out of your linkage arm here. Now the magnets will lose it. Take a 13/16 wrench. Use this. Wow, that's tight. Wow, that was really tight. Right out. Take out our EPC. Take out the low reverse servo. It's easier with 2 scribes. Turn this over a little bit. Get yourself snap ring pliers. Open it up a little bit, you can go in there with a screwdriver and pop the rest out. A little rag there. And then we got our 1 tooth in there. Oh boy. There we go. And again, we got the shift kit in here. I'm going to reuse these shift kit springs. Alright, so everything's stripped from there. Now I'm going to turn to the front, take out our pump. The only sockets you need for this unit are an 8, a 10, and a 13mm. That's it, the sockets. You need a screwdriver, a scribe, a hammer, and your 13/16 wrench, and a couple of different types of snap ring pliers, and you're building the unit. There are other tools that you can get to make your life easier, which I'll show you as we build it, but you don't need it. Alright, to get this pump out, I'll show you what I use. One's made by Snap-on, it's threaded over here, and the pump has threads in here and in here. So either one, make sure it's just threaded in there really good. You don't want to leave it loose because you break the threads in the pump, and then you could cause potentially a leak, which won't be good. Because the only way to fix that leak then is to take the transmission back out. So make sure it's in there nice and tight, and it'll come out. If you have trouble, then go on the other side and work it back and forth. There's other methods to get the pump out. There's another tool like this, which will go on the stator. You tighten it up, and then you spin this, and it'll come out. The other way is the old-fashioned hammer, and you can just hit it here, and it'll come out. So this is our pump. Make sure this washer is good. Whatever's not good, we'll put to the side so we know we got those parts coming, and we order correctly. Take this apart. And then as we take apart, we'll put it in our cleaning machine and have it clean. Our pump gears, we want to make sure they're not impregnated. And what I mean by impregnated is the steel gets into the aluminum, or vice versa, and the aluminum goes into the steel gears. This one looks good, so we'll take out our piston. This is a bonded rubber piston, so if we're going to change the seals on this, you have to actually change the whole piston, which sometimes is a good idea. This one's soft, this one feels good. We'll take off the O-ring before we clean it, make sure we're all nice. Throw that out, and we'll put these in the machine. stator, we have these late ones, 2 plastic rings here. You can just take them off with your fingers. We'll throw them out. And then the 2 bigger ones on the bottom, move them to get to the opening. Right here. Take your scribe, quickest and fastest, put it there, and with a hammer, just break it. And then we'll finish the job with the snap ring pliers, and voila, they're cleaned off. You're going to get all new seals in the kit, so we're just going to throw all this out. I like to recycle, so I put that in the metal bin as opposed to regular garbage. Even though it's small, every little bit helps. Alright, got our gasket gone. Now, this is the inside of the unit. All you have to do is just take the cable, that will come out. The band looks okay, but we're always going to change that. Remove the frictions from the steels. We'll put the steels and springs in the machine. We'll put the frictions to the side. We'll take a closer look at them. These high energy frictions, by the way, high energy, you can tell they're high energy because they're black or green. They have a tendency not to show that they got hot because they are originally black. So they're very hard to tell if they're okay or not. So rule of thumb is high energy, just change them. They're cheap enough and it makes no sense to play around with something that's so inexpensive. So we're going to just throw them out. We'll take a, like I said, a look to make sure there's no indication of other problems in the unit. But anything high energy we'll replace. Somebody was in here at one time. It has a nice locked snap ring around the Sprague assembly, which this is aftermarket, and we put this on every single Sprague assembly because they have a tendency to pop out, and these will prevent that. Now, it looks from here that these reverse frictions are burnt, and they are. We don't know why yet. We're going to have to take a closer look. So we'll take the reverse frictions and steels, put them to the side. We'll take our pressure plates, which see fine, put them in the machine. We're going to take a better look at that. Now we can take the piston out, which is a little... Oh, I see the problem down here. If you see, the beveled springs cracked right down the middle. So that's why our friction pack in reverse was burnt up. We'll change that. That spring breaks every here and there. It's, just the luck of the draw sometimes. So these snap rings are a little tricky. Oh boy. Especially when it's got a broken spring down there, it's a little trickier because you're putting uneven pressure around the whole thing. Sometimes these can be tricky to get out when they're broken. Oh, here we go, it's coming out. Alright, and now you see how it's broken. That's no good, that's garbage, there's nothing you can do with that. And again, these two are very, very inexpensive. They're cheap. It doesn't mean you need to change every one, but just change them when they're broken. This is a ring that sits on top of the piston, don't lose that. And to get these pistons out, take an air gun, and you'll see 2 holes. Hold one hole with your finger, put air in the other hole, and hit it a little bit. It will come out. We'll do it one more time. Do it one more time. around. And here's our piston. We'll take our seals off it. They're square cut seals all the time on these. I've been using the same piston and seals on these since the early AOD hydraulic units back in '81. So we'll put these in the machine. Alright, next we got our forward drum. We have 2 seals down here. We want to make sure we cut these Teflon seals off. Alright. It's our forward drum and they're burning. And now we're going to put this in our arbor press to get the piston out. Alright, what I do is I'll take my little tool here, and these arbor presses, they're pretty cheap for the tool that you get. I think I might have spent $150 on this one, and I've had it for at least 15 years. It's a great tool. 1, 2, 3, you're out. You got your snap ring, retainer, spring, piston. So, that in our small parts, we'll take our lip seals off the forward piston, garbage, and machine. Next, we have our intermediate direct shaft here. Just never had a problem with those. Sometimes this forward hub strips out in here, so keep your eyes out for these splines. With all your bearings off to the side, we don't want to get them wet with any type of soapy water. We'll use solvents to clean the bearings. So this is good. And this is where our problem is going to lie. Yep, you see? You see the gears, they're all chewed up. So these are no good. This is a common problem. It's a very, very common problem, especially with the commercial vehicles with a lot of weight, a lot of weight in them. This is very common. Sometimes these sun gears get stuck in there, and it's a little bit of a pain in the neck to get these out. You know, there's no magic trick. It's just look around and try your best to get them out. I mean, they will eventually all come out if you never had one totally stuck in there. Now we got a snap ring, and then we have our Jesus split, which is right here. Those pop out and fly away, so we put a hand over it and catch it. And now we'll take our whole planet set out. They're heavy. Take center support out. Sometimes the bushings wear out here. You can get these bushings. The early ones did not have a cutout here for the speed sensor, so just be aware of that. The low reverse sprag, we will reuse this, so just be careful that they don't all fall apart. We'll put this to the side. And again, this is more garbage. There's nothing we can do with this. You can see how it's all broken. We've got our low reverse bands, that's in good shape. Alright, so now we got the rest of our assembly here. Our bearing, our case bearing seemed to fall apart, so we'll put this to the side. We'll just get a new one. Doesn't go like that, but we'll get a new one. One more thing down here is the snap ring. This snap ring, the only thing it's for is to hold band up during assembly. put that in the small parts. And just make sure the case is alright. The case normally wears out right here. This situation, our case feels good. It's best to just put your finger in there and take a peek. We're all good with that case. We'll separate our ring gear from our hub because the ring gear is not going to be any good. Put this with the garbage. And then we will take the rings off of the output shaft. Unlike the stator rings, these are very light. You can just get them out with your finger and then unlock it with your finger and then use this to break them. The direct Teflon seals, take a scribe to break it. You don't want to reuse these things. You know, a lot of people, a lot of guys try to save time and reuse this. It doesn't pay. It really doesn't pay. You'll get leaks. You might lose the shop, might lose the driveway, but it'll bite you in the ass later down the line. So don't think that you're doing yourself a favor by not changing this. Put brand new rings in. And then just inspect it, make sure that everything looks okay. Sometimes they get worn out where the direct drum rides and where the seals are, it gets all smushed up. Sometimes when the bearing breaks, it'll smush the top of this. And sometimes when the case wears out, it'll wear out there. Lastly with this to look at is the snap ring. So you got a snap ring right here. We're going to leave it on the output shaft. There's no reason to take it off right now. But these snap rings, they break quite often. And it'll be a piece this big that breaks off. It's a little bit of pain that you get it off, and they're hard to find. But keep your eye on it, because this will be attached here. But if you don't specifically look, you won't notice, and then this thing will just blow apart within a couple of road tests. So make sure you look at that snap ring. Everybody misses this one little key part when they build these units, is that this snap ring breaks. Okay, now we got our direct drum, which we will be changing, and we'll put a brand new direct drum in here. This direct drum hub, a lot of times these get worn out. Either the hub itself gets chewed up, or look right over here where it sits on the bearing and gets chewed up right there, because when the bearing blows up, in this case we're okay, the bearing did not blow up. This is our bearing here that sits on the bottom. And that's alright. But we did get a new bearing anyhow. Back in, all plus back comes out. Now we have the shim down here we gotta take off. Sometimes use a mat. And it's off. The step part goes down, the bearing will sit on top of it. Alright, just like we did with the forward drum, we're going to do with the direct drum, put it in the press. Get your handy dandy tool. In there. Get the snap ring pliers. And we're almost done disassembling the unit. So you see that it's not so bad disassembling. This is the easy part. It's a messy part, but it's fairly easy. It's not too complicated. The valve body we'll just put to the side for now. But I mean, there's nothing to it. And then you have your piston. Take this out. Sometimes these get stuck in there. Don't worry. You could buy a completely loaded drum, and then just junk whatever you got in there if that's the case. And then you take our lip seal out. We'll put this in the tank to wash. And then there is another lip seal in here, so make sure you take that out and change this one down here if you're going to reuse this drum. In this case, we're not going to reuse this one. I'm going to put it to the side though, And maybe one day in the future we'll take a closer look at that. But for today, we got a brand new one coming from Ford, and that's it. And that's the disassembly on a 470W.